Pastor Matthew Stuckey here, and I wanted to make a quick video talking about the legacy of Jason Collins, former NBA player, the first open homosexual to come out, which people have talked about the great courage he showed and boldness to encourage other LGBT athletes to step out. So what is the legacy and what does the Bible say about this? Well, the Bible actually says that being a member of the LGBT is actually a vulgar and disgusting sin, and it's a sign that you've rejected God and you have been declared reprobate by God and been rejected by God with no hope of salvation. Here's what the Bible says in Romans 1 verse 27. It says, "And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another." So the Bible says there is a natural use. There's a natural desire that people have towards someone of the opposite gender when they reach a certain age. And the Bible speaks about people that are vulgar and sexual perverts that reject that, and then they end up desiring those of the same gender. But the Bible speaks about, as a man, the natural use of the woman, the normal desire that somebody has. How does this take place? Romans 1 tells us that people do not like to retain God's laws. They don't like God's laws. They don't like the commandments, and they reject God, and eventually they can be rejected by God. And so it is possible for people in this lifetime to turn on God and rebel so much and reject Him that God would actually reject them and take off their hope of salvation. And they become like a beast, the Bible says. The Bible refers to the male homosexuals, the Jason Collins, as being dogs, liking those of the opposite gender. And so acting like a beast, acting like an animal, is not something to praise. And just because he's the first beast that would openly state, hey, you know what, I'm a beast, I'm a sexual pervert, that is not something to be admired. It's not something to say how much courage and boldness you have. In fact, this video I'm making actually shows a lot more courage and boldness than what he did, because of course the media is just promoting the LGBT to no end, and there's really nobody on the other side actually standing against it. But what the Bible says very clearly in Romans 1 is this is a disgusting sin. It's not normal. It's not natural. And these people are actually evil and vulgar people, and they're not somebody to be praised. They're not somebody to be promoted. But one thing I can say about Jason Collins that I am thankful for is that he actually helped prove the Bible to be true. Because the Bible says in Psalm 55 verse 23 that bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days. They will live short lives. And there is a price to sin, and there is a punishment just in sin itself, and also a punishment that comes from God. And he proved this right as he died at the age of 47, which is a pretty young age. And vulgar and wicked and disgusting people are generally going to live pretty short lives. And Jason Collins was a evil person, a wicked person who rejected God. He became just like the people in Genesis 19 that are predators, and he is now burning in hell forever. Thank you, and God bless.